Hello dear students. So far in the chapter photosynthesis in higher plants, we have already studied about all the experiments related to the study of photosynthesis. After that, we studied the photochemical reactions, that is light reactions. In previous class, we studied the first type of dark reaction, that is biosynthetic reaction. We studied about C3 cycle, that is Kelvin cycle. So in that we studied that whatever ATP and NADPH which are produced in light reactions are used up in dark reactions, and O2, which is a byproduct of the light reaction, it is liberated. We also studied how in this Kelvin cycle the first stable product produced is a C3 product, C3 acid called as phosphoglyceric acid. That's why it is called C3 pathway. Today we will be studying about another cycle which is called as C4 pathway. In C3 pathway we studied that in Kelvin cycle there are three stages which are carboxylation, reduction and regeneration. In carboxylation, carbon dioxide fixation takes place. In reduction, the glucose is synthesized, and finally the regeneration where the acceptor of CO2, that is RUBP, it is regenerated. Today we will study the C4 cycle. This is C3 cycle. In C4 pathway, the first stable product is a 4-carbon product called as oxaloacetic acid. But before going into the details of C4 cycle, let us know why this C4 cycle is required. The main drawback of C3 cycle is a process called as photorespiration. I told you last time the enzyme RUBP carboxylase oxygenase. It has affinity both for CO2 as well as oxygen. Generally when the temperature is higher, it has more affinity with oxygen. So instead of taking in carbon dioxide, it also starts taking in oxygen, and there is a release of carbon dioxide in this process. So this process takes place in light and the product is carbon dioxide. That's why this process is called as photorespiration. In a way, it is a loss for CO2 fixation. So certain plants which are actually adapted in tropical climate where temperature is always very high, if they start losing so much of fixed carbon dioxide, it's a big loss. That's why these plants have adapted a different mechanism. That mechanism is called as C4 pathway. They have a specific anatomy about which we will study, that is called Cran's anatomy. We will study the details. So these C4 plants, they are adapted to dry tropical regions, and the C4, that is oxaloacetic acid, is the first CO2 fixation product. The plants with C4 pathway does follow Kelvin cycle because that is the main biosynthetic pathway. Apart from C3, there is another cycle, that is C4 cycle. So this is very important. C4 plants differ from C3 plants by having special type of leaf anatomy. They tolerate higher temperatures. They show a response to high light intensities. They lack a process called as photorespiration and have a greater productivity of biomass. So the anatomy of C4 plants, which differ from C3, having large cells around the vascular bundles, which are called bundle sheath, and the leaves which have such anatomy are said to have Cran's anatomy. That is very important. We will study the diagram also. The bundle sheath cells may form several layers around the vascular bundle and have large number of chloroplasts, thick walls, impervious to gaseous exchange, and no intercellular spaces is there. The pathway was explained by the scientists Hatch and Slack. That's why it is also called as Hatch and Slack pathway. So, the tissues involved in the process of C4 pathway are two types, mesophyll cells and bundle sheath cells. The process starts in the mesophyll cells when carbon dioxide is accepted by the primary acceptor. In C3 cycle, the primary acceptor was IUBP, but here the primary acceptor is PEP, that is phosphoenol pyruvate, and the enzyme which is required is peptase, that is phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. And mesophyll cells lack RUBP enzyme, that is Rubisco enzyme. The C4 acid, that is oxaloacetic acid, is formed in the mesophyll cells, which then forms another four carbon compound structure called as malic acid or aspartic acid in the mesophyll cells. So these acids which are produced in mesophyll cells, they have to be transported to the bundle sheath cells. So this malic acid formed are transported to the bundle sheath cells. And the bundle sheath cells, these C4 acids are then broken down into C3 compound and carbon dioxide. Here the carbon dioxide is released. The C3 molecules is transported back to the mesophyll where it is converted to PEP again, and the cycle keeps on continuing. The CO2 released in the bundle sheath cell enter the C3, that is Calvin cycle pathway, which is common to all the plants. And the bundle sheath cells are rich in enzyme called as Rubisco, and there is lack of peptase. So as a result, this Calvin cycle pathway takes place in the bundle sheath cells, not in mesophyll cells. So let us now study the whole process with the help of this diagram. You can see here, these are two types of cells. These are called mesophyll cells, which are granule cells, which have got chloroplast, whereas they have got grana, chloroplast having grana. Here the chloroplasts are there, but they are agranule. They do not have the chloroplast. They do not have the thylakoids. Grana are not there. So what happens? First of all, the primary acceptor is phosphoenol pyruvate PEP. It accepts the atmospheric carbon dioxide. Fixation takes place. First stable compound produced is a C4 compound, which is called as oxaloacetic acid. This oxaloacetic acid here, it is converted to either malic acid or aspartic acid, and then that C4 acid is transported through plasmodesmata because there are no intercellular spaces. So only through plasmodesmata they are transported. Now here in the bundle sheath cells, this C4 acid splits into a C3, that is called as decarboxylation. CO2 is released, and this CO2 which is released is used up by the Calvin cycle, and then this C3 compound, it is again transported back, and it is again transporting back to the mesophyll cells, and regeneration of PEP takes place. Okay, this way, here the Calvin cycle takes place. So at no point this Rubisco comes in contact with oxygen because here grana are not present. So light reactions will not take place. Light reactions will take place only here. Here only dark reactions will take place. So this Rubisco will never come in contact with oxygen. As a result, there will be no photorespiration and there will be no loss of fixed carbon dioxide. So this is how this takes place. Okay. So these were the two reactions, that is the C3 cycle, which is called as Calvin cycle, and C4 cycle, which is called as Hatch-Slack pathway. Now next topic are the factors which are affecting the photosynthesis. So let us see what all factors are affecting the rate of photosynthesis. See, photosynthesis is influenced by many external factors as well as internal factors. So let's see. The external factors which affect the photosynthesis include the availability of sunlight, the temperature, carbon dioxide concentration and water. This whole phenomena was explained by Blackman and it is called as law of limiting factors. According to which, if a chemical process is affected by more than one factor, then the rate will be determined by the factor which is nearest to its minimal value. Means lowest available factor will actually will control the rate of photosynthetic reaction. So it is the factor which directly affects the process if its quantity is changed. Okay. So when you take about light, the light at low light intensities of light, there is a linear relationship between incident light and CO2 fixation. So if there is low light, CO2 fixation is less. If you increase, CO2 fixation will increase. But at high intensities of light, the rate does not show further increase because there is a limitation, after which there will be no further increase in the rate of photosynthesis. Or you can say increase in incident light beyond a point results in the breakdown of chlorophyll and a decrease in photosynthesis. To some point there will be increase. After that it will be stationary. But if you continuously increase the light, then it will affect the chlorophyll and the rate of photosynthesis will decrease. Now when you come to carbon dioxide concentration, here is lot of difference. Carbon dioxide is a major limiting factor for photosynthesis. This point is very important. It is important to remember that carbon dioxide is in very low concentration in the atmosphere, that is 0.03 to 0.04%. Increase in concentration up to 0.05% can increase carbon fixation, and increase beyond this level can be damaging over longer period. So when you see that only C3 plants are influenced by the increase in photosynthesis, whereas C4 plants, they are not affected by increase in CO2 concentration. Next is the temperature. So the dark reactions are controlled by a temperature because they are enzymatic. Enzymes are there. So light reactions are also sensitive to temperature, but to comparatively less extent. The C4 plants have a much higher temperature optimum than C3 plants. So the temperature optimum for particular plant also depends on its natural habitat. Tropical plants have higher temperature optimum than temperate plants. So tropical plants, they can tolerate it much better. Same way, the effect of water is more on the plant rather than directly on photosynthesis. Water stress results in the closing of the stomata and thus it reduces the availability of CO2. So water stress also leads to wilting of leaves, and wilting of leaves means reduced surface area and reduced metabolism. Okay, so with this we have completed this chapter, photosynthesis. This photosynthesis is very important. Please go through the flow charts of light reactions and also the cycles of dark reactions. I hope you have understood this topic, this chapter, which is a short chapter, but it is of great importance. Thank you very much.